The letter of the day is F.
Okay, this is what we're using as our ramp to get it up there. Those are 2x12s. They're 7 2x12s high. Each one's about 6 inches shorter than the one before it, so it builds kind of a ramp. But then we added this, or those are 2x10, sorry. We added this 2x12 here as a ramp to help it, to get a little more of an angle, because we were digging in the mud with the back tire, with the rear axle. Then we placed, these are they're about 3-inch thick pavers. We got 3 of them there. I think they're actually a little more than 3 inches thick. And then we have a piece of plywood on top. This is going to allow us to turn the wheel so we can get access to some stuff that's underneath that we need to get to, that we'll show you a little bit later. We have one of these on both sides, and we are about to back it up. Here we go. Okay, folks, this is not safe. We are not professionals. If you do this, you're on your own risk. Don't sue me. We've used these ramps before. They've worked. We're going to keep using them. It's cheaper than trying to take it to somebody to raise up my front end, because my front end's getting big. But you get the idea. So, at your own risk, do this. You decide what you want to do. Hey, it's what it's all about. Okay, so what we're doing here is Pops is disconnecting the battery while he's trying. There's a box under or inside where the driver's wheel is. It's that box right there. It has some 60 amp fuses, fuse links, things like that. This is, I believe, where the power from the battery comes in and then goes to the rest of the bus. But the problem we've run into is, you can see, if I can get it to focus, the box is literally rotted away. Okay, so this was the box that was underneath the driver's side steer tire, right underneath where the driver sits, basically. And as you can see, it had some problems. It was rotting out. There's stuff rusting, falling apart. The Philadelphia school system thought that a good idea to fix it was to just, as you can see, put some kind of a caulking and sealant around it, weather stripping, and that would keep the water out. It obviously did not. One of the terminals, when we were taking it apart, actually disintegrated. This one just snapped off. These are just corroded really bad. So some of this we probably can save, but a lot of it we're just going to have to rebuild and just get another one. We're going to try to locate a new box that's the same box. We're going to talk with the companies that sell this kind of stuff. If we find out where it is, we'll try to, if you ask us, we'll try to tell you who the heck it was. But a lot of these fittings and things we're going to have to buy new, because they're broke. They were bad. And if we don't address it, this is where all the power from the batteries went through. That deals with the power in the bus itself. And that's just a fire hazard or something bad happening when you're out on the road, especially when we get up in the middle of Alaska. Well, we don't need to break down and not be able to fix this. So that's where we're at. So stay nerdy, my friends. Okay, we're going to continue the build where in front of the driver's tire, the steer tire, underneath it, under where the driver sits, there was a mechanical or an electrical box. It was rotted out, terrible. So basically it was doing nothing but rotting. We had some 200 amp fuses in there, some things like that. We're going to show the rebuild, so we'll talk about that stuff more. Kicking around a lot of ideas. I got some ideas from people talking to us online, some suggestions through the electronic socialing schooly world. I don't know, all that stuff. The wife says, "Hey, this is what they said," and I go, "Okay." So we're gonna move it inside. At least that's the plan. So this is what we're doing, and let me show you here. I'm gonna talk about some of the stuff here, and I'm gonna try to film, but there's not a lot of room underneath. what we're doing as we're doing it under there. So I can get Grandpa to not just start taking things apart yet. Because, yeah, Papa Nerd, he gets kind of busy. So, in here, this is the box. Okay, that's the electrical box. See those wires all the way in the back? You got these top two. This is the positive. This is the hot. Okay, you can see I've already cut off the ends because I want to put new ends on it. I didn't like them; they were kind of getting all nasty, kind of corroded. I want to put new ends. We're gonna take care of that too. Now, on the other one, which is the bottom line here, these two down here, this is the negative. Okay, now this big thick negative, which I'm not sure what size it is. Let's see if it says it's 4 gauge. It says it right there. It says SGT 4 gauge AWG, which is American wire gauge. Okay, that's brand new. Well, not brand new. It says year revision from 2000. Well, this is a 2001 bus. So things like this, when you find these kind of things on your bus, take a picture, which I will here in a little bit, and save it, because it's talking about a revision, an update, and you want to remember that. And that's telling me the size of the wire, which hold on, which I have been trying. Hey Pops, stay there. Where you at? I'm trying to get him. Yeah, I'm not good with this camera thing. We've been for the last week trying to figure out where you at, Pops? No, there we go. Okay, there we go. Figure out what gauge the wire was. Of course, if I'd have just come over here and looked at the black wire, the negative, it says it right on it. Ah! I've been looking at the red one, which is covered in grease. That ain't doing me any good. And doing measurements, all kinds of stuff. So we know for sure it's an aught 4, which is a thick ass wire. Don't use normal household stuff that you would get from, get the sun out of you guys' eyes, from Home Depot. Okay? And here's the reason. The wire you're getting from Home Depot is for houses. That's DIY stuff. It may be a 4 gauge, or an aught 4, which is the
Identify yourself. Robot Model B9, designed and computerized as a mechanized electronic aid for Earth voyagers engaged in astral expeditions.
American system, the AWG system goes, it counts down. The lower the number, the bigger the wire, okay? When it gets to 0, it calls that aught. Okay, so you get aught 1, aught 2, aught 3, aught 4. The more aughts, so aught 2 is bigger than aught 1. Does that make sense? Okay, but what's important is this wire here, and I'm going to try to show it to you, and I'm not sure if it's even going to show up with all that sunlight in there. Is it going to focus? Not going to focus for me. Well, what you'd be able to see if my camera skills were better is that the wire inside is stranded. Okay, and you can get the stranded wire from Home Depot and the big box boys. The difference is it's a thin gauge strands. Thin gauge strands can pull a lot more amperage. They can handle the workload. And these big batteries on these buses can push, hundreds and hundreds of amps. So you may put a 4 gauge wire on there, but if it's the thicker gauged individual strands, you may set yourself on fire. Ask an electrician. That's what I did. I went to an electrician's business and started talking to them. I bought a few things from them. It cost me $60. I paid too much for those items, but that's okay because what I got was tons of knowledge also. So I'm not going to buy all my stuff from them, but I bought enough that I feel like I didn't steal their knowledge. And they were talking to me about this, that vehicle wires for batteries, because of the amperage, needs to be a much thinner gauge individual strands. That's what you're looking for. So don't just think you got to figure it out because you watch like 2 YouTube channels. Watching YouTube is great. We're not professionals. We talk to professionals. We're friendly with professionals. That's who we talk to. So please double check. And again, don't do what I do because I ain't no professional. I'm simply trying to nuke it out as we go. And I know my eyes are going crazy because I'm looking at the screen, but I should be looking at this. I'm looking at that. So I don't have 2 lazy eyes. I'm just lazy in general because I retired. Okay, so this is what we're doing. Let me go back to this now. Pull it back over here. Now, what I was talking about before I so rudely interrupted myself is that the bottom wires here, this, now these are connected together on the terminal, just fine. That's pretty normal. You don't want a ton of connections hooked up there. Get a bus bar if you're going to do that. But the big wire, the AUT4, only goes about a foot past the back of this box. Goes out that hole there and attaches right to the chassis. Okay, so I don't have to reroute that wire, but I do need to reroute the red. And I need to reroute this little black wire, okay? Which I'm going to look at it to see if I can find out what gauge it is. And it says this is 4 gauge, not AUT4, but 4 gauge. Yeah, I really should have come look at the black wires. You can read all those. Holy cow. Oh. At any rate, there we go. I know, that's Pop slapped me in the back. So that's what we're going to do. We're trying to reroute, so I'm going to show you as much as I can, but once we put this thing under the bus, I'm not sure if you're just going to see our backs of our heads and our hands moving, so bear with us.
Here we are underneath the bus. That's Papa Nerd, or Grandpa Nerd, is loosening up some of the fittings so we can reroute the AUT2 wire. What we're trying to do is move it from where it's currently routed in that junction box that we pulled out. We're going to reroute it into the bus and then come out the side electrical box, which sits underneath the driver's side window. This was a whole lot more trouble than we thought it would be. This is me behind the steer tires, trying to reach as Pops is pushing the wire toward me or moving it around. One good thing about being underneath here is you can count on getting greasy. So when you get out of there, you can pretend you actually worked, even if all you do is take a nap. Yeah, I'm not saying I took a nap under there, but, you know, we do things like that. Okay, so here we're inside the bus. The white box there to my right where I'm drilling into, this is basically, it's the inside or the back side of that electrical panel that you access from the outside of the bus. It sits underneath the driver's window. So we're going to drill holes there, and then we're going to drill holes in the floor here in a second. And we're going to pull the wires up through the floor and then run them into right where where I was playing with. And here's Pops. He's drilling through that steel there.
Awesome.
Yeah, we needed bigger holes so we can put the pass-through connectors.
And what is that thing called again? A battery? No, the whole box.
This?
Yeah,
Well, this was the battery box over there because the battery's in it.
right.
This is just an electrical access box.
But the stuff that you removed and moving up there.
I don't know what it was actually called, but it's where the main power is coming in. So the main power box. I'm going to give it a name. I'm sure it has a really fancy.
Technical name.
Yeah, somebody with a suit and tie came up with, who's never called a wrench in their life, but
So they could add a couple of $1,000 cost to
Yeah.
the bus.
yeah. So I don't know. It's just
All right.
You see, they could have done that originally, even with all the stuff that was in there before.
yeah. If it was a little bit wider,
Yeah.
yeah, it would have been able to fit. So I don't know. I don't know. Nor do I really. I'm not an engineer. I didn't go to college. I educated. I'm just a deplorable.
University of Hard Knocks.
The University of I make a lot of mistakes, and I do.
We have proven that one.
Yes. Yes.
All right.
Okay. Thanks, babe. Anyway, so we're gonna have 3 wires that come out and come down and go that way. Or they're probably just gonna bend this way. In
Right.
truth. Then we got 2 gauge wires. One coming here, one coming to this, one coming to this, and then one of these feeds this. We got another device that goes here for the 200 amp little fuse is what they're calling it. So we have a void here, but it's going to be filled with wire about the size of this, which is 2 gauge. You'll have 1, 2, and the one coming off the bottom of this would be 3. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So,
And you still got room for your bus bar. Or
if we want to put a bus bar in
If
there,
you
I
want
think we
to.
can put
Yeah.
one probably right in here,
Yeah.
or right in here. And probably just put it right there if we want to. I'm not going to put it in there now because it's
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah.
So we're going to take a break. Do lunch. After lunch, we'll come out and see if we can't pull that wire. Start moving some of those wires up into here.
Yep. Sounds
So,
like a plan.
that's where we're at. It's break time.
Put in a plug.
So here's it. The sound we have right now is going a little crazy. Our microphone died on top of all of our other electrical and electronic conditions and issues and thingamajiggies and joggies. But also, I want to throw a plug into the Callahan, Florida Library. They've been letting us use their place. Cool. Love libraries. They ruin lots of movies. Yes, they do. Other than that, you guys keep between the lines, stay safe, and we apologize for all of our sound issues. Stay nerdy, my friends.